In this video, I'm going to share with you how I've scaled now 2 different coaching businesses in very different niches to over 20K per month with 1 offer, no team, no setters, no VAs, and 0 sales calls. It's the same system I've used to help dozens of other coaches add 5 to 15K to their monthly income over the past 12 months. And now, if you're new to my world here and that all sounds crazy or insane to you, or if you're skeptical, I get it. I'm not making this video here to prove anything to you or try to convince you of anything. I simply want to share what worked for me and for my clients to generate multiple 6 figures per year as an online coach. And I'm not going to do some fancy slideshow here or any crazy editing. There's no script, just me, you, and basically a roadmap to get you from wherever you're at right now in your business to 20 to 30K per month consistently. Now, chances are, if you're watching this video, this probably isn't the first video that you've ever watched to get you, that's, I guess, promising to get you to 10, 15, 20K plus per month. And if you've watched videos like this before, you've probably seen or heard that there's a lot of people out there who will tell you like their way is the best way or the only way to scale or grow your coaching business. Well, I'm going to tell you something that probably nobody else has ever told you before. And that is that anything out there really can work. You can make 10, 15, 20, 25K plus per month doing low ticket, doing high ticket only, selling a fitness app, doing sales calls, only using organic traffic, only using ads. You can get there with a big team or by yourself. The truth is, everything really works. But the key is, if you want to be successful and stick with this long term, you have to figure out what path is going to work best for you. So like I said in this video here, I'm going to walk you through what worked best for me and my clients. And my hope is that by giving you this video here, that some pieces of this might resonate with you, and you can kind of pick and choose the pieces that you like and go, I would like to try that myself and implement that into my business. And you can kind of pick and choose what pieces you want to kind of combine together and build your dream business the way that you want to run it. So before I dig into the details, the first thing I want to help you understand is why I chose to why I chose to build my business this way. And the reason is because there's kind of 2 different paths you can go down, 2 possible versions of your business at the end of the road. The first is where your entire life is practically built to serve your business, meaning like everything that you do outside of your business only ever happens if it doesn't interfere with your business. You hustle, you grind every single day without rest because business is the number one most important thing in your life to you. And that used to be the way that I ran my business. I started playing this whole online business game back in 2018, and I ran my business that way until early 2022, to be honest. And the sad part is, I guess, that it worked. I hit my first 10, 15, 20K plus per month operating my business that way. So you absolutely can build a massive successful business this way. But what I found is that it kind of locks you into the old golden handcuffs, where you're essentially a prisoner to your business, where you're stuck in the trap of needing to trade your time for money. The more you work, the more money you make. There's no detachment of time from money. Now, I made a big shift in 2022 with the way that I run and operate my business, and it led me down the other path. So the second option, the second version of your business at the end of the road is one in which where your business is built around your dream life instead, where your business is built to serve your life. I'll give you an example. So my wife is from Brazil. Now, a couple of years ago in 2023, she wanted to fly home to see her parents over Christmas and New Year's, and she wanted me to go with her. So the way that I was previously running my coaching business, by the way, my previous business was in the fitness niche. So if you know anything about the fitness industry, you know that January is by far the biggest and best month to sign coaching clients because everyone is setting their New Year's resolutions. They hate themselves because they ate like an asshole all month in December. Well, a couple years prior to this trip, there would be no way that I would ever agree to take this vacation, a 3-week-long vacation in the busiest, best month of the year, because it would mean missing out on a ton of cash. However, at that point, it was after I'd made these big shifts in my business, after I'd built my business in the way that I'm going to show you here today. I had built my business around my life. Now, during that trip, because I had built my business this way, I really only needed to work an hour, maybe 2 hours per day to kind of do the bare essentials to move forward and still sign clients and make money. So while I was on vacation, while I was in Brazil enjoying the beach and the beautiful weather, I had one of my best ever cash collected months at the time, making over $27,000 cash collected. And this was only possible because of the systems that I had in place. The system I'm going to show you and walk you through today and teach you how to implement into your business. So I want to walk you through what I consider to be the 5 core pieces of what I call the Category King system that allowed me to build a highly profitable business around my life. So there's 5 core systems. I'm going to pop them up on the screen somewhere around here so you can kind of see the big picture as a whole. And I built this system and it's basically like a funnel, right? It brings leads in on autopilot. We warm them up very quickly. We take prospects from cold to sold within a matter of weeks and turn them into high-paying clients. So those 5 systems are what I call the Cult Branding Blueprint, the Daily Client Machine, the Viral Profits Playbook, the Email Sales Engine, and the Sell by Chat system. So this is my model that took my coaching business from struggling to pass 5K per month and working 10 plus hour days to consistent 20 to 30K months at the end and working only about 4 hours per day. So I call this the Category King system, and I'm going to walk you through this step by step right now. Starting with system number 1. So system number 1 is what I call the Cult Branding Blueprint, and this is essentially the foundation of the entire plan, the entire funnel here, and it is, in my opinion, the most important system. It makes everything else work. So it is essentially the marketing plan that's going to guide the rest of your business. So what exactly is the Cult Branding Blueprint? This is put in place to solve the biggest problem in the coaching industry, which is trying to stand out from the crowd. So for years, honestly, even decades now, people have tried to compete with other people in their industry by trying to position themselves as the better option or the better choice than their competition. They would make bigger promises, they would sell faster results, they would make all these big claims that just keep getting inflated, bigger and bigger. Now, the problem with this marketing plan is that everyone all starts to sound the same. All the promises and claims start becoming the same thing, and they all sound really unbelievable because people have blown them up so big. So in 2025, if you want to stand out from the competition, you need to position yourself like a cult in your market. So instead of screaming why you're better than the competition, every single marketing piece that you put out, every piece of content that you put out there should showcase how you are different from them. Not the same, not better, but different. Prospects and leads don't care about claims anymore. They're looking for something new, something exciting, something different in a world where they've heard everything 1,000 times before. So going forward, I would suggest almost all of your marketing efforts should be focused on trying to stand out and trying to position yourself and your business as different, not better. And the goal with this system here, with the Cult Branding Blueprint, is to create essentially a category of one for you and your business. This is to essentially make all competition irrelevant and allow you to stop competing on price or having your prospects compare you to other people or choose someone else, even if you're the better coach. So you don't have to make bigger and better claims. You don't have to keep inflating the claims. You just showcase why you're different and something new that people have not seen or heard before. And that all comes down to marketing. You don't actually have to make anything new or different. You just position yourself in a way by talking about your solution, about your coaching program and the results you get in a different way that people haven't heard before. Next up is system number 2, which I call the Daily Client Machine. So this is the best lead generation system or tool that I've ever found to date. So what the Daily Client Machine is, essentially we use simple Instagram ads or what I call follower ads to grow your audience and bring in the ready to buy leads at the same time. This gets you an immediate return on ad spend. So you're liquidating your ad spend. You're not going in debt first for a while and then having to pay it off down the road. It liquidates your ad spend almost immediately, but it also compounds and snowballs over time as you nurture leads, as your audience grows, who are not ready to buy yet. So the longer you run this system, the more money you make, the more return on ad spend you get. Now, why would we want to use ads? Why use ads when organic growth is essentially free? So organic can work great, but it requires a huge element of luck. And in most cases, a lot of skill and practice. The other issue is that organic growth relies on algorithms to work, which are completely out of your control. Now, ads, on the other hand, when you do them right, they are predictable and they are controllable. You pay money and you get a predetermined amount of eyeballs on your content or your ability to reach the audience, the very niche audience that you want. Right? And with the type of ads I use, there's practically zero skill involved at all. So I've had clients implement this system here, launch their first ever ad. They've never run ads before and get an absolute banger winner immediately, which starts to fill their DMs with qualified leads, usually within about 24 hours, even after they've been struggling to try to grow organically for the past 4 or 5 plus years. So with follower ads, the ad system here that I use, people typically start off in about the 3 to 5x return on ad spend within the first month or so. Meaning for every $1 they spend, they earn back somewhere between $3 to $5. For example, if someone were to spend $500 on ads their first month, they would expect to get back about $1,500 to $2,500 in that first month there alone. And that's going to snowball over time. And it's also going to increase with the more that you spend. So typically for most people that I work with, within about 6 months of running follower ads, most of my clients are seeing somewhere in like the 8 to 15x return on ad spend, meaning they spend $1, they get $8 to $15 back on average, right? And you can start this with as little as $5 per day. Most of my clients run about $10 per day. Some of them are up around $20 per day, but they don't hit those $15, $20 per days until they're actually doing like $15,000, $20,000 per month. So you can start very small, scale and build up over time as you start signing more clients, as your profits increase. So that's the Daily Client Machine and how we stop relying on organic content and we build a predictable, controllable system that brings us in leads practically on autopilot. Now, next up is system number 3, the Viral Profits Playbook. So it's essentially the content system I use on Instagram itself. So the principles of the Viral Profits Playbook apply to all types of content. So that means like your posts, your carousels, reels, Instagram stories, YouTube videos like this here, lead magnets, etc. All that. Now, where this content system, my philosophy around content really starts to differ from other people is understanding the difference between what I call shotgun content versus sniper content. So shotgun content is the approach that I would say the majority of influencers, coaches, content creators, whatever you want to call them, people on Instagram use with their content. So every time they post a piece of content, their goal is to make it as valuable as possible. They try to share all the how-to information, and basically they're putting out content trying to optimize for engagement. It's essentially chasing vanity metrics. And I see so many people taking this approach here. And more often than not, it's going to leave you broke. And the reason is because sharing value content only attracts triers, not buyers, not the people that are going to become clients. So when you share a lot of value content, when you use shotgun content, you're going to get a lot of thank yous. You're going to get a lot of engagement on your content, but you're not going to get any clients. So we have to remember that just because we're getting lots of views, likes, engagement, comments, all this kind of stuff, we have to remember that popularity isn't profit. We can't pay our bills with likes and comments. So we have to optimize our content in a different way, that we're steering all of our content, pushing everything towards profit. That's the goal, and that is where sniper content comes in. So sniper content is meant to attract buyers and push away the triers. So since we are using the Daily Client Machine, like we just talked about, to bring in leads and to grow our audience, we don't care if our content grows our audience at all. That's not the purpose of content in this system here. So what we are using content for in this context is we want to use their content to focus on nurturing leads more than anything else, and meaning like the content we put out there is meant to shift beliefs, make identity shifts, sharing our philosophy, pre-handling objections, showing why we're different than other people, getting our leads to know, like, and trust us, basically. We're not trying to get engagement. We're not trying to get views. We're not trying to get reach. We're trying to nurture the people that already follow us. That is the only purpose of our content, because we're optimizing for profits, not engagement. So every piece of content that we put out should move the prospect one step closer to becoming a client, rather than giving them tips or how-to information or strategies or sharing our secrets so that they can go away and try it on their own without us. That's shotgun content. We focus on sniper content here. And this is one of the most important shifts that I think coaches need to make. And it's going to almost immediately improve the quality of leads that you're speaking to in the DMs. So that's system number 3. Next up is system number 4, and that is the email sales engine. Now, I want to share 2 quick stories here that kind of really help you understand the importance of why I put so much emphasis on email in this overall system here. So firstly, I had about 427,000 followers across my Instagram and TikTok in my previous business. But my email list was only a tiny fraction of that, a little under 12,000 followers. I think it was 11,800 and something. So if we did a little math there, that's about 2.7% of my total audience was in my email list. But about 52% of the clients I would sign and my monthly profits and revenue came from my email list. Right? That means that every single subscriber on my email list was about 39 times more valuable than any social media follower that I had. And the reason is because when you have a massive social media audience, it's very likely that when someone follows you, they may never ever see your content again with how the algorithm works. But when you hit send on your email, you send it out to your email list, every single one of your subscribers gets that email in their inbox. So that's story number 1. Story number 2 is a bit of a horror story. So one morning in 2024, I woke up to the scariest message I've ever got on my phone ever. And I got this message when I opened up the Instagram app. And it said something along the lines of, we have suspended your account or your activity on your account didn't follow our community guidelines. That was it. That's all it said. No explanation, no details, no chance to appeal, no support to reach out to, no way to get it back. On my Instagram, at the time, I had about 131,000 followers, and they were just gone. Thankfully, I still had my email list of almost 12,000 subscribers. So my business didn't die overnight with my Instagram profile. But this doesn't just happen to me. This can happen to anyone at any time for no apparent reason. So I want you to think for a moment. If you lost your Instagram account or whatever your biggest social media account is, if they got the big delete button for no reason tonight, what would happen to your business tomorrow? If you want an audience that you own, that you have control over, you better start building an email list now and taking it seriously. If you want to have an extremely profitable marketing channel that you own, where you can reach and contact your best quality leads at any time, you better start building your email list immediately. That is why I put such huge importance on email, and it's why I have it as one of the 5 core systems in my business. So what I do with email is I push everybody off of social media onto email through lead magnets, call to actions, all that kind of stuff, pushing everybody onto email so that I can send them an email every single day, so that I'm showing up in people's inbox every single day. I'm showing them that I'm consistent, because on social media, they might see one of my posts a week if I'm lucky. So I'm sending emails every single day. I'm running every single person that subscribes through a 14-day welcome sequence that quickly nurtures them and warms them up, so I can take leads from cold to sold in as little as 14 days. There will be a very high conversion rate in the first 14 days. Then after that, if they don't convert in that first 14 days, typically 90 days to 6 months is where you see the conversion windows after that. Some people just need a lot more warming up, but putting them through that welcome sequence, getting an email every single day for the first 14 days in a very systemized way, that you're hitting on specific touch points every single day in a way that's taking them through your philosophy, the way that you do things, the way that you help people, showing a bunch of testimonials and proof along the way. It's very easy to get people from cold to sold in those first 14 days. That is why I love email so much. So that's system number 4. Lastly, system number 5 is my sell by chat system. So if the email doesn't work to convert people, we have to convert them in a conversation. Now, I use conversations to sell. I use conversations and DMs to sell. I don't do sales calls. I took my first ever sales call back in 2018, early 2018, for my first coaching business. And back when I had first started building the coaching business, playing this whole online business game, the reason I was doing sales calls at the time is because I didn't know there was another option. At the time, everybody out there basically preached that the only way to sign high-ticket coaching clients was doing sales calls. So I knew that if I wanted to make money, I needed to learn to sell. So between January 2018, when I launched that first business, and December of 2022, I did 387 sales calls, along with literally hundreds and hundreds of hours of practice and role play and studying. But I got burnt out bad. So my calendar was at the end in early until mid 2022, my calendar was packed full every single week. My business was thriving. I was making a lot of money. Profits were great. I had tons of clients, but my calendar was packed full every single week. And my schedule outside of my business completely revolved around my sales call schedule on my calendar for the week. So I literally had no freedom at all. I had 15 to 20 hours of sales calls every single week, from 8 a.m. until like 5 p.m. My calendar was just packed full of sales calls, and like 2 or 3 evenings per week I had open for sales calls as well. So very little freedom. And it wasn't exactly the freedom that I had aspired to build when I decided to play this whole online business game. And on top of that, I just hated how I felt doing sales calls. I hated how sleazy I felt trying to emotionally manipulate people to buy on sales calls. I hated objection handling people. I hated pushing them to buy. So in 2022, as part of my transition away from the old way I was running my business, the old business model that was stealing my freedom and mentally driving me crazy, to this new category king system, as I was building, I decided to give up sales calls for good. And December 12th of 2022 was the last and final sales call I ever took. So here's how I did this. Here's how I went through this process of going from sales calls to DM sales. I took my sales call script, basically it was in a Google Doc at the time, my sales call script, and I split it into 2 different pieces. So I took what I called the discovery phase of the sales call, and I turned that into a conversation DM script. So on a sales call, there's like a bunch of checkpoints that you need to go through to kind of get people into a buying pocket, right? So I basically took those checkpoints, I put them in a DM script, and I knew that I needed to bring a lead through these different checkpoints in a conversation to kind of tee them up to be sold through the DMs. Then what it is I went back to my sales call script and I broke off the pitch section of my sales call script and I put that in a separate Google Doc. And I basically turned that into a sales page within a Google Doc itself. It was literally just a 4-page document. I have it printed out somewhere here. Here it is. I'll show it to you. This is the Google sales doc I had that sold $320-something thousand in the DMs for my fitness business. Literally just text. No pictures, no images, no testimonials. Literally just text. That's all I would send to prospects in the DMs. And that would convert people into buyers without having to get on a sales call with them, without having to get on Zoom with them. I could literally have my freedom back again. And that was basically it. I took my sales call script, I broke it into a DM script and a Google sales doc. I would have a conversation with people. I would send them the offer doc if they were a good fit, and they would tell me if they were in or not. Simple as that. I stopped objection handling. I stopped trying to push people to buy that weren't ready. I let them make logical decisions on their own terms, on their own time. And this gave me a lot of peace in my business. And more importantly, it freed up my calendar completely. It gave me back 10, 15, 20 hours per week at least, and took a lot of stress off my back and made running my business and doing sales calls a lot more, not doing sales calls, doing sales in my business a lot more enjoyable. And it allowed me to sell my coaching program while I was at the grocery store, or if I was in between sets at the gym, if I was on the couch watching Netflix, if I was on the beach in Brazil. And essentially that's how my sell by chat system works. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. There's nothing complicated or magical about this. I'm not a master copywriter by any means. I literally took my sales call script, turned it into a DM script and a Google Doc sales page, if you want to call it that I send people in the DMs. Simple as that. That is my sell by chat system in its core essential. Now, that is it. That wraps up my 5 core systems that I have as part of my overall Category King system. That is the full system that makes it possible for me to hit those 20 to 30K months. I've been over 20K months consistently since early 2022. I had a few before that, but they've been consistently over 20K since early 2022. I've run this business with no VAs, no help, no assistant coaches, no team, 4 hours per day, approximately on average. And it's simple, it's peaceful, it's enjoyable. This is the same system I teach to my clients now. They're getting similar results. They're on the way to hitting those 20 to 30K months. Some of them are around 20K, a couple of them over that. The majority of them have added at least 5K per month to their coaching business while cutting back on the amount of time and hours they spend in their business. So this system works. I've proven it myself a couple times. I've proven it works with them, and I know it could work for you too. But I also know that this isn't going to be the right system for everybody, right? And I know I covered a lot here, and there's a lot more I could go over as well. And I want to make clear, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, there's not a one size fits all. There's not a magic pill system for everybody. You have to kind of take the pieces of this that you like, that you enjoy, and apply them to your business and build the business that you want that suits the lifestyle that you want to have as well. And one of the things that I love the most while working with coaching clients is helping them figure out what's going to work for them, helping them figure out the business that they want to build and the lifestyle that they want to have, and then taking the bits and pieces of my system here and applying it to their business, the one they already have, and stacking these things on rather than completely eliminating their business and having them start from scratch, right? So that's my system. Those are the tools that I use, the systems that I have, how I've built this business multiple times now, how I've helped dozens of other coaches do the same thing. So if you're interested at all in learning more about how I do this, how my clients are doing this, how you could possibly scale to 20 to 30K per month without sales calls, with no team, only working about 4 hours per day, I'll drop some links below this video here. You can check out more if you're interested in having me help you install these 5 systems or parts of these systems here into your business. Either way, I really hope this video is valuable for you in a way that it helps you kind of open your eyes to seeing that there's multiple different ways to build a business, a coaching business, despite what all the gurus and the big guys out there are talking about and preaching. And hopefully you understand that you can do things in a way that you didn't think were possible before. So that's it for me for this one. Hopefully this was helpful for you, and I'll see you around to the next one.